only 40% of you are subscribed. Fix that. I want to say thank you to my Patreon subscribers and my Twitch subscribers. If you want to help out the channel, you can actually help out for as little as $1 a month. Enjoy the video and have some fun.
Alright, for our last video, it's a story out of Houston. And here. We know landlords are trash and all that other good shit. And we know we need to have solidarity between the working class. But this isn't how you actually resolve that issue. And this makes all of our left-wing ideas about getting rid of landlords look and be lumped into all the other crazy people. So let's go.
You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to the second half of the Factor Uncensored. A horrible...
I hate news broadcasts. Okay, let's go.
Deadly shooting investigation from Southwest Houston over the weekend. Investigators believe the events unfolded after an eviction notice. It happened 1 a.m. Sunday. The suspect set fire to an apartment complex, luring his victims to the area. He shot and killed 3 people before officers arrived and killed...
This motherfucker set a trap. He literally set a trap. Not only did he endanger the people that he killed, but he set a fire. Oh, okay, let's go.
Him. As the investigation continues, 2 local judges we talk with want to remind everyone out there is rental assistance available, and eviction is not the end of the road for you.
Our guests are here on the Factor Uncensored to talk about this tragic story, Judge Wanda Adams and Judge Joe Stevens. Guys, when we see people being evicted, we really, in many instances, unless they're related to us, we don't think a second about it.
So this is actually true. I've actually seen, in some sense, where you see people who get evicted and you're just like, damn, that's some fucked up shit that happened. Never actually realizing that may be somebody's only possession, their only place to live. And in some places, well, in every place, living on the street is a death sentence. And especially after the pandemic, you seeing shit like this, please, I hope no one resorts to violence after more and more evictions happening, which a lot of companies are trying to ramp up. But let's go.
Other than those who may be connected to those individuals, but this shows us just how big of a big deal it is to be evicted. Obviously, we don't condone what this man did. This is a horrible situation, but the impact of an eviction is just mind-blowing for some people. Judge Adams, let's start with you. Obviously, you're sitting on the bench and you have to make these decisions. And I want to remind our viewers, you guys had nothing to do with this particular case, nothing whatsoever. But your thoughts on the impact of an eviction, pushing someone to this level?
First of all, Isaiah, thank you for having both of us.
So he's actually spelling it out. Like when you have dealing with the loss of your home, sometimes that just makes you feel like you have no other choices. But let's hear what the judges have to say.
And I want to give, and I'm sure Judge Stevens want to give our condolences to the family, because 2 persons did lose 3 persons lost their life, and one of them was actually the apartment manager of the complex that lost their life. And of course, we're glad that none of our firefighters or our first responders was injured in that case. But giving an eviction and following the law is something that we have to do on a weekly basis when it's concerning evictions. But one of the things that I see in this case is an individual who probably felt that eviction was his end, like there was no hope. And so when you look at evictions, it depends on what else is going on in their life at that time. Was the eviction the only thing going on, or was there other things that's going on at that particular time? And when they're coming before us, we don't know what's happening at their life at that time. We just know that an eviction is in front of us, and we just have to follow the law and move forward according to, what's happening right there in the courtroom.
So listen to it. The system is designed that no, we don't care about what the rest of. And I'm not saying it's malicious. It's like, no, what matters is the shit that's in front of me. You lost your job. You have medical debt. There are things you may be going through a mental health spiral. Oh, you didn't pay this motherfucking rent, so you gotta go. And just like the callousness of this shit, but just like the judge is saying, it doesn't actually lead to you going on a fucking shooting spree. But let's go.
Judge Joe Stevens, this individual had to be at wit's end. And like Judge Adams said, we're not sure what else was going on in his life. But at wit's end to set a fire, wait till people come out, and then shoot as many as he can, and then take his own life. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Isaiah, we make real decisions with real consequences, and you never know when a person is at their tipping point. I just hope that, the city, the county, and our elected leaders can provide resources for people, not only for evictions, but obviously for mental health, right? Because a lot of this that ties into a person's mental health. And, unfortunately,
how many families actually lost their homes too? Like, this is just. Okay, yeah, let's go.
Our job is pretty black and white, right? We follow the law, we follow what the book says. But unfortunately, in times like this, you can't even predict what something like this does to a person when, like you said, this is it. I lost my home, I have nowhere to stay, I have nothing to live for. Or I want to get revenge on the people that they perceive as causing this to happen to them. So all of this ties into kind of mental health and the resources that hopefully we can provide for these people, to help them bridge the gap when they're going through a rough time.
And when they are going through that rough time, and many people, and I'm sure you see a lot of people who go through evictions, are there any other options out there for them where they can get help or get temporary housing, get some help until they get back on their feet? And that goes to both of you. Just either one jump in.
Right.
Now, they're going to give something that's localized to Houston, but let's hear the shit.
Things that I can say about both Judge Stevens and I is that we do partner. For instance, I know Judge Stevens, of course, in our courtroom, we partner with the Texas Workforce Solutions. So we let them know that there are jobs available. And I don't know if you've attended our courtrooms, and when I was training, and I would watch Judge Stevens all the time, that he don't just render the verdict. Like, okay, I have to rule in favor of the plaintiff. He leaves them with hope to let them know this is not your end. We do have resources available, that there are services available for you, but it's up to that individual to follow through as well. We can give the information, Isaiah, but if they don't take the information that we provide to them and utilize it, especially when Judge Stevens was talking about mental health, I have a mental health docket that I have to deal with on a monthly basis when you're dealing with individuals that are facing mental health, depends on whatever the crisis that they're in at that particular time. And based on the story and based on the news, this was a crisis because being served the eviction on Saturday and on Sunday morning, unfortunately, he committed this tragedy and HPD had to, to end his life, and they should not end it like that. He was only...
Like, it's just sad. And, one thing that would work in fixing the system is more government-supported housing, or breaking up the rental monopolies that a lot of these corporate firms are actually trying to do now. But let's go.
Getting evicted, and now someone is getting ready to bury him.
Isaiah, Harris County still provides rental relief for people that are in need, to help bridge the gap in situations like this. There are resources, and like Judge Adams said, I try to thoroughly explain to people why they're being evicted. Here's what you can potentially do in the future to avoid these types of situations. If we can help the landlord and tenant come to some resolution via Rule 11 agreement, where they both kind of agree, here's my departure date, here's when I'm gonna be able to turn my keys in, because sometimes it's just I need a couple of weeks if you delay this case. Sometimes that's the case, because I'll say it a million times over, communication is best practice. And if you get both sides to communicate, sometimes they can come to an amicable resolution. The landlord gets what he wants, possession of his property, and the tenant gets what they want, just a little extra time so I can bridge this gap.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you all for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored to talk about this tragic situation. And we want to remind our viewers, once again, you guys had nothing to do, either of you had nothing to do with this particular case. Thank you.
All right, so, that's just like, I get the whole needing of, we've all struggled and shit like that, but it's not worth taking somebody's life. And there's always hope. To go on a shooting spree after getting out, nah, dog, it's just too much. And yeah, I hope the families actually find some solace. And we need to change the way we treat people in housing, because shelter is a human right. But anyway, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and we're gonna cut the video segment here.
If I gave myself the power